Good morning, good afternoon, or good night, wherever you are tuning in from. This is BS Buddies Podcast. I'm your host, Joe. That is your host, Ian. And today we are going to be talking about the tragic tale of this year's Chicago White Sox. Mostly because I wanted to do a baseball episode, and by the time this video should come out, it should be the end of the season. So we'll see if they made history, which we'll talk about. But Ian, how are you doing?
I am doing pretty good. As I told Joe shortly before we started recording this, we took a short break in between to go eat some supper and get ready. And I was going to go take a shower. And then I started getting phone calls from some friends. And my girlfriend wanted to show me some TikToks. And right as I turned on the water, Joe texted me, "Okay, I'm back." So, yeah, lightning fast shower. Came down here in a flash. Here I am. Here we are. Here you are, face to face, talking about the tragedy of the White Sox.
And just so you guys are aware, Ian doesn't follow baseball, so this is news to him too. So he's along
Not
for
at
the
all.
ride.
I know nothing.
So
He sent me a random picture
that we will discuss. So I'm going to bring it back to last year. Last year, the Oakland Athletics were the worst team in baseball. They barely got over 50 wins. There's 162 games in a season. And you're thinking, man, like, no one's going to be that bad in a long time. 2024 Chicago White Sox, I tell you what. They're like, oh, that was a bad record? Let's do a worse record.
giving them a real run for their money here.
So, if you guys haven't heard, which I take it a lot of you guys haven't, the Chicago White Sox are on pace to have one of the worst seasons in baseball history. Baseball starting in like the 1880s.
I just want to say this as a side note, just because I like to make commentary on some of these things as I hear them and thoughts enter my brain, and I got to catch them before they fly out the other ear and run away from me. Right? Like, you always hear about, like, oh, this season for such and such team has been the worst season they've had in 15 years, or, oh, this team is on track to have the best season they've had in 30 years. Who was it that just recently won the World Series and they haven't done it in like a century or something like that?
I don't think they ever did it. So the Rangers just won it. I'm guessing you're talking about the Cubs, 108 years. That was in 2016, just so you know.
No. Okay, that can't have been in 2016. There was something like, I swear it was like 2, maybe 3 years ago.
The Rangers had never done it. Trying to think.
Maybe it wasn't the World Series, but there was some team that managed to pull off something that they haven't done in over a century. And if it was the Cubs in 2016, dude, I swear to God, like I remember hearing about this recently.
I will say the Washington Nationals won, I think, in 2019, and they had never won it. Then it was the Dodgers. Then it was someone, and then it was the stinking Astros, and then it was the Rangers last year, who had never won, I believe.
Right. But I mean, you always hear about, oh, they smashed this record that they haven't done in a long time, or they did this that they've had. But when you really encompass the history of sports in America, because we're not a particularly old country by any metric, but when you think like, oh yeah, baseball, one of the oldest sports in America, and you get the tagline, worst track record season in baseball history, you're going, like, there's been some bad times, but if you're making it down to like that, I think you almost loop back around to like being like, wow, that's impressive.
So I'm going to read the record off for everyone. And then I'm going to pose a question that I heard on a podcast. I'm going to pose it to you. So I think we determined before, as we're recording this, I think they're about to play. But before they play, they have played 147 out of their 162 games. Out of those 147, they have won 33 of them. 33. They
And
got
for anyone,
I was just going to
sorry.
add, they got eliminated from baseball playoffs in beginning to mid-August. Usually you start seeing teams like get eliminated now that it's mid-September, like, oh, sorry guys, and then some will make it, but it's bad when it's not even close to September and it's like you guys are out of the playoff
Not
running.
even a chance. Not happening. For anyone, I mean, 33 out of 147 with another 15 games on the horizon sounds bad. But just to put it in a percentage number for any of my statisticians out there, people like me like a percentage, that's a 23% win rate. That is
Yep.
23
Not
point.
even 22.4%. You can't even
Yeah,
round up to 23.
you can't. Yeah, you can't even round up to 23.
And when you look at this, it's like you're talking like games behind like the leader of your division. And like the bad ones are like 15 games behind like teams that aren't going to make the playoffs, but like 17 and a half, 14 games behind. You look at the White Sox and they are 51 and a half games back of Cleveland.
Oh, that's just harsh to hear. Like, I'm
So
sorry, that's just harsh to even hear.
for them to be in the running, obviously like they're out, but like Cleveland would have to lose 26 games in a row while the White Sox win 26 in a row to catch up to Cleveland.
And they can't even. It's not even possible for them to do. Oh, I feel bad for chuckling at that.
Oh, it's sad. But I'm gonna throw out some other stats here.
And I'd
So
like to say that I say all of this from the precipice of these guys who play baseball like way better than I could ever be. Like I know that sometimes people view this as dogging on the team. Not at all. Like I'm sure they play significantly better than I could play. Miles.
that's
Okay, if you're telling me that I could go on that home plate and have a chance at hitting a
oh,
ball
you
that they
probably
pitch to
can't
me,
have a chance of hitting a ball, but fielding a ball, you could probably do just as good as they have been doing.
that
Hitting,
okay.
you're still facing like 95 mile per hour
Yeah,
junk.
I'd see. I'd be an idiot and like I'd swing at one that's coming like way inside and it would like smash me in the finger or something and I crack and because I've got a really bad gauge when it comes to baseball in general. You used to pitch to me and I hated it.
Well, that's because I only threw you junk pitches because I knew you hated it. I didn't give you anything good to hit. Anyways, childhood trauma put aside.
I don't know if it'll ever be fully put aside.
we're gonna talk
Continue.
stats. We're gonna talk stats, and the reason why I bring this up is the White Sox are close to breaking the modern day baseball era loss record, which I think the modern era of baseball was like the 50s, 60s is when it's was more modernized. It could have been the 30s too. I don't have that up, but right now they need to lose 7 of the 15 games to break the record. And they've been doing a pretty good job keeping on pace with that. The 1962 New York Mets went 40 and 120, which is 160 games. They have 2 more, but the worst
Oof.
record ever, percentage-wise, was the 1899 Cleveland Spiders with 20 wins and 134 losses at a 13% win percentage.
1899. I'm curious when the Spiders disbanded as a team. You think it was that very year? In
I
1899,
could
the
look it
Spiders
up,
had
but
20 out of 130 whatever odd games. In
134.
1900, in 1900, the team was disbanded. Shocker.
So the White Sox have to lose 7 more. And
7 more.
they set a franchise record when they hit their 100th and 107th loss. And they're at 114 right now. They are beating their franchise record by 7 currently. So, the question I was alluding to. If you are the White Sox, I also got this from Chris Rose, John Boy Media. If you are the White Sox, do you go for the record, or do you keep trying to win, or do you just completely give up?
Okay. Now, see, this is a tough one because I don't want to tell them to give up. I mean, granted, it's very demoralizing to be in this position. Nobody likes having the moniker of worst team in history or moving to be worst season in history, right? Nobody likes that. So I don't want to tell them to give up because that's demoralizing. I want to see you win and succeed. On the other hand, you will live forever in baseball infamy.
Yes.
At least until the next terrible team comes along.
I mean,
And
you're still going to be like in the top 10 of worst.
And this sound, yeah, you're definitely top. I mean, you'll be number 1 until you become number 2. And then you'll be number 2 until you become number 3, and so on and so forth. So you're going to be there for quite a while.
You'll be there
I mean,
while. It's hard. It's hard to lose as bad as they've been losing.
As they've done. On the other hand, if they attempt to go for the record, can you really claim that it's your record? Because I mean, at that point, now you're trying to lose, and I will say it's probably easier to try to lose than to try to win and still end up losing. You know what I mean?
I feel like if they stop trying, they might win with some lucky magic.
There seems to be this weird inverse thing where it's like, when your attitude becomes, oh, I don't care what happens, then suddenly all the pieces fall into place, and now they'll just like play perfectly for the rest of their season and flawlessly hit it out of the park. Which, I mean, on one hand, now they're not getting their record for worst season, but on the other hand, at least you had a strong finish. You know what I mean? Like, at least you slugged it out, no pun intended, until the very end of your season and did it. So I think, and this sounds very terrible of me to say, I want them to keep trying to win, but I at least want them. I want it to be close, right? I don't want them to
win 8 games but lose 7, so they get the record, but they finish kind of strong.
Yeah, like a nice even split. You know what I mean? Like maybe like a or even like a 39 out of 162. You know what I mean? Just like right on the cusp, where it's like just enough, where it's like, okay, you can still feel good because you won some games, but you know, now you get to be like, hey, look what we did. We made history.
So I honestly just hope they lose. Like, yeah, they can win a few, but I really want them to break the record because, I mean, 1962 was the... I mean, there have been bad teams, but that's, like, the worst since. Like, go for the record. Break it. Then you can tell people you were on the worst baseball team in history. But then you can go to a different team and, like, be like, hey, I still won a World Series. I'm okay.
Yeah, man, which you can go on and
is a good segue to the picture I sent you. So the picture I sent Ian, you could look this up. It's become a very popular picture. It's of Miguel Vargas of the White Sox. And if you know who I'm talking about, you're probably kind of chuckling to yourself, but like a sad chuckle. It's not it's not good. It's not.
I will say the picture that you sent me is the one with him sitting. It looks like he's sitting in the corner of the bench.
Yes,
like I hate to say this He looks like a kid sitting alone at lunch. But like in the corner, there's like a little.
I'll get to that. I'll get to that. I'll get to that. That's gonna give away what I'm about to say. Sorry.
Oh,
I tried to
very
save.
well.
I tried to save a different one, but it wouldn't let me save it, so I had to save that one.
Okay, gotcha.
So
Never mind. Then I'll save my comments.
The reason why there's a player there that's why he's there. That's why Vargas is sitting there. So Miguel Vargas was not always a Chicago White Sox. To start the year, he was on the Los Angeles Dodgers, who, you know, that Shohei Ohtani guy who's going to win National League MVP. A great Dodgers team, like usual. The White Sox traded with the Dodgers. Miguel Vargas went from a first-place National League team that has a great chance of winning a World Series to one of the worst teams in baseball history.
Oh, no.
So if you look up Miguel Vargas, White Sox, you will find this image of him sitting like at the end of the bench looking like a sad little kid. And I feel so bad for the dude. I feel terrible. Like, there's nothing you can do to get out of that unless you have a no trade clause, which I think he's too young to have. And I guarantee once he gets older, he's going to automatically just put a no trade clause in for everything. You can waive that, but
yeah. And I know that on some levels it's probably not personal. And I mean, I'm not particularly familiar with sports trading. I don't even know how draft picks during the NFL work. No clue. And I'm sure factors such as like performance and team cohesion and other things play into it. But I be safe in saying that they're not always trading the worst guy on the team. Sometimes other trades are made to like, oh, they have a better player that we want. Let's give them one of our good or even mid-tier player. You know what I mean? And so like, I'm sure that on like a team playing and a business level, it's not personal, but it would be very hard to be in his shoes and not feel like it's personal. You know what I mean?
I want to know how the conversation went with the Dodgers front office and talking between them and being like, okay, we traded Vargas. Who's going to be the one we're going to make tell him that we're trading him to the White Sox? I would hate to be that guy.
Poor fella. And when was he traded? Did you say? I'm not sure if you...
would have been at the trade deadline, which, like, end of July.
End of July. Okay, so they already would have been fairly decently well into their no fun streak.
For the record, hold on.
It would have been it at least would have been a point of like, hey, listen, pal. So,
like
me, Greg, and the boys, we're talking in the office, and you're gonna get traded. Listen, I'm gonna be honest. You're going to the White Sox.
You can't
right
even
now,
say it without laughing.
Right now, Jerry, you suck for this. Okay, listen, right now, it's 50-50. Like, it's up in the air. They could bring this back. You could be the missing link. Dude, there's no way you could tell him without making him feel like it's personal. I think that's what I'm like. This is his villain origin story. Right here, right now.
So about bringing the White Sox back, there was a meme for a couple weeks where the All-Star game happened, and then the trade deadline happens a few weeks later. There was 2 weeks where there were memes where I think the National League team won. It showed their record of 1-0 where they only play one game, and the White Sox had 0. Like, records after the All-Star break. National League 1, White Sox 0. They've had
0.
3 losing streaks this year of 10 games plus.
Oh, you know, you hate to see it. You really do hate to see it. And like, I understand in competition, in order for somebody to win, somebody else has got to lose. Nobody likes watching a team go under. And that's not even from a standpoint of like, oh, boo, my team is losing. This sucks. That's just like, man, you hate to see that. You know what I mean? Like, you hate to see that. Like, come on, I'm rooting for you, bud. You can turn it around. You can pull it back. You can rein this horse in. You can lead it to water. You might not be able to make a drink, but you can at least lead it to the water, like get it to the riverbed edge, kinda, so you can watch, the water.
Well, good news for White Sox fans. They play pretty easy teams. They play bottom of the barrel teams for pretty much the whole month, except the Padres, which I think they might be playing in San Diego. Oh no, they're they're in San Diego. That one's you're gonna get swept there. That's fine. But you play Oakland, who are bad. You play the Angels, who are currently beating my Twins, and it's making me really, really sad. Then you play the Padres, sweep, whatever. Then you play the Angels again. Then you end with the Tigers. And if they're close, you could destroy their season at the very end. Because they're creeping up on my Twins, who have been abysmal the last month.
Yeah, they've been doing bad. I've been hearing about that on the radio in the morning.
Yeah, they brought back the rally sausage, though. So.
The what?
Well, we're done talking about the White Sox. Let's talk about the rally sausage quick. Is this your first time hearing about it?
Yeah? What is a rally sausage? And I don't think you want me to tell you what I think it is, because what it sounds like,
I would like
probably
to
not
keep this
appropriate
on
for
the
you.
internet.
Probably not appropriate.
I'm just going to tell you. So one of the Twins players, Kyle Farmer, at the beginning of the year, the Twins started out 7-13. Just rough start. And Kyle Farmer, I don't remember exactly how it happened, but I know he brought a sausage, and there's like a summer sausage in a casing. Yeah. And
I'm just picturing like literally the summer sausage from Walmart, like plastic wrapper and all.
Yeah, it's that. It's legit. It's not like a plushie. It is summer sausage. One like that short, that small. But anyways, teams do home run celebrations, and the Twins have their like a Prince themed one that they've been doing. But since they started off so bad, what they started to do at the beginning of the season is whenever you hit a home run, someone tossed this summer sausage and you caught it and carried it around the dugout and then put it back wherever. They used it for about a month. And hold on. They brought it back and I'm like, oh, they probably got the same thing from like the same person, but it's like a new one. It's same celebration. No, someone saved the one from the beginning of the season, put it away for emergency situations. And last night, as of we're recording this on September 11th, this makes it so much better. They brought it back, the same sausage.
Oh my God!
And they won 10-5. They won 10-5 after slipping 4 games.
The sausage declared them the wiener. You like what I did there? Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. Yeah.
There was one game they tossed it to Carlos Santana as he was running back to the dugout, and it hit him straight in the top of the head. Did not see it coming.
Right off the top of the dome. Okay, I know whoever saved the sausage, I'm guessing most likely probably put it in like the freezer or whatever.
I don't think they did. I don't think they did. They haven't refrigerated it. They brought it on the road. The the thing is, it's cured, so like it doesn't need to be refrigerated. But it's also been thrown around by sweaty men.
It's probably gotten warm. It's gotten loose. Things have shit. Look, all I'm saying now is that if you were to cut into that summer sausage and make a sandwich with it, you'd get a healthy dose of penicillin along with it.
I
All right, but
I hope at season's end they like cut it open or make someone open the bag and smell it.
just, I need you to open this up and take a little whiff for me. Oh, smells like bad decisions in there, and it's just a mold pocket on the inside. That'd be so gross.
I will say, this is gonna be disgusting. My guess is if the Twins do solidify a playoff spot, which right now they have one, but it's very rocky. There's a lot of teams right behind us. If they go all the way, win it all, that sausage is going to be put in the Twins Hall of Fame.
Oh my God, it's going to be
glass container.
We have to incorporate that somehow into our mascot. We have to. Like, there's just, you can't, because our mascot for the Twins,
TC Bear.
That's right. Yeah, TC Bear. For some reason, I always think chipmunk, but that's just because of Goldie Gopher. Side note, I don't know if you ever remember when, I believe it was TC Bear, knocked the head off of my Wolverine mascot costume when we were in high school.
I do remember that.
Here's an interesting piece of trivia for you guys, in case you didn't know. There was one time we had a school rally, and our mascot was a Wolverine, and they needed somebody to play the mascot. And I don't even know why I was chosen. I think they were just like, "Hey, we need somebody to do this." You. And so they ran me through like a quick, okay, put this on. Here's the helmet. And they didn't tell me that like the little straps that hang from the helmet, I think they're supposed to like go through your arms or something, or like loop under your armpits, and that's what helps like hold the helmet down. I think it's supposed to go like under the suit. I don't know, it doesn't matter. They didn't tell me how the head is supposed to stay on your head. And so all I had was this little piece of foam to look through on the mouth of our mascot head. And this foam extended down just far enough that I could bite onto it. And that was how I had to keep. I know it's super gross, but I was an idiot high schooler. I wasn't thinking about the 5,000 people who've worn that thing before me. I was just thinking, oh my God, I have a bunch of screaming 10-year-olds out there and I have to keep them all placated. Yeah, I said screaming 10-year-olds. Anyway. So I'm like just glomming onto this thing with the front of my teeth. And we run out there, and TC Bear comes out, and because I went out first, and I'm like waving to all the kids, and I'm like, oh, whoa, and all the kids are loving it, and I'm like, oh, this is cool. And then they're like, and now we have TC Bear, and I like look over, and I see the dude who's in the TC Bear costume. By the way, I never even got to meet the guy or even meet him in his mascot costume. Like, this was literally the only encounter I've ever had with this man. Yeah, and he sees me, and no rehearsal, nothing. And so he like zooms over and runs over, and the dude, whoever's in that costume, he's strong. Granted, I wasn't a very big 11th grader, but he just picks me up and scoops me and lifts me in the air. And I'm like, okay, this is what we're doing now. I'm now 2 feet off the ground. And he goes to plop me back down, and he does like a little hop up and then kind of releases me. Well, he's got them big old cheeks on the TC Bear mask, and as I fall, that cheek hits the head, and boom, Wolverine was dead. Dead right there. We decapitated him on the gymnasium floor.
The Logan movie got destroyed. He
got
destroyed by TC Bear.
I slammed my hands to my face, and I'm like, oh my God, where'd the mask go? And then somebody ran it over, and they put it back on, and I'm like tapping it like, okay, it's on good. And So then, of course, we're doing this like push-up contest. We go through the blah blah blah, and then once we're done, all the kids are running up to me and they're like, "Who are you under there?" And I'm like, "No, wait," and I just laughed and just booked it. So, and then I never even got to see the guy who traumatized all those poor 5th graders and 6th graders. Like, I never even got like, dude, you can't even give me an autograph. You just massacred these children's favorite school mascot, and now you're just gonna waltz away and leave me to take the blame for it?
I also love how they saw you and still asked who you were under.
Yeah, well, to be fair, the second the head came off, I was like immediately hands up to my face. And it wasn't even like I didn't think about it. It was just an instinctual, mascot. Oh my God, I'm supposed to be the mascot. I can't let the kids know who I am underneath here. This is my secret identity. I'm gonna be harassed by the children if I let them know who I am. I can't have that happen. I'm gonna have 6th graders coming up to me at lunch asking for my autograph, and I'll be like, "Listen, that was a one-time gig. I don't do this. That was like moonlighting. This ain't my regular day job, kid. Go away."
When you brought that up, I did remember because we just every single time it's like, "Who's wearing it? Who's wearing it? Who don't we see?" And I remember me and my cousins just. I mean, we busted out laughing. It's like, of course that happened to Ian.
It was really in character. I wish somebody would have got that on video, because I really wanted to look at that from the outside perspective. And I think I was at a Twins game like a few years after that, and I saw TC Bear there, and I think I was gonna try and go up, and I think I mentioned something about knocking the head off the costume or whatever. But of course, the guy who's in the suit, he doesn't say anything because everyone's around, and it might not have even been the same guy in the suit. But I was just like, "Hey, tell your team of guys, whoever was in there, I was the one up in blank town when you knocked the head off of our mascot, and just wanted to say hi. That was a lot of fun." And he's like pointing at me, and I'm like, "I don't know what that means."
What if he was the same? Like, they only have one TC Bear, and he goes around, and I would laugh if he was pointing at you like, "You're the guy.
You're the one. Come here. Let me show you how to wear that thing properly." And just oh man.
To recap, the White Sox suck, and I feel bad for them. My Twins aren't doing great, but we got the rally sausage back, and TC Bear kind of.
And TC Bear killed me.
Yeah, that's good.
What did we talk about today? We talked about terrible socks, rallying wieners, and and a sports mascot killed me. That's what we talked about today. You can turn that into a short.
Only on this podcast, so if you're new, subscribe. That sums it up.
That's about what we do here.
I completely forgot the outro, but we'll see you next time when we meet TC Bear in an alley and Miguel Vargas is sitting in the corner upset.
And then me and Joe beat the crap out of TC for slighted offenses against 6th graders. But until then, I'm not going to take it easy. I'm going to hunt you down, TC. Just you wait. I will find you.
I'm adding TC Bear in the short.